So now I just want to tell you ways in which Prepare to Serve videos can be helpful, ways that you might use them to benefit you and your friends' lives. So there are so many videos. I mean, there's more than 10,000 videos. Among those videos, there's some incredible stories of people being saved from death because they followed a spiritual impression. Stories where crazy things happened because they did not follow an impression. Interesting facts about cultures and countries. One way obviously to use it is when you get your mission call, just watch all the videos there are about your mission. Say you have 3 months to wait before to prepare before you enter the MTC. You could spend a few hours of those 3 months just watching videos about your mission. And the return missionaries are sharing things that they wish they knew, that if they knew going into the field would have made them such better missionaries and so much better prepared emotionally to be able to confront the challenges they face, to be able to connect with the people and be an effective missionary. And so I think it's totally worth it. I wanted this. I didn't have this resource when I went on my mission, but I wish it had existed, and I would just gobble it up. And I've watched just about every single video on our YouTube channel, and there's just a lot of good stuff. So I definitely take a look at that. Let's see other ways that our videos can be helpful. If you're traveling to a foreign country, you can watch videos about the culture and stuff, and know that it's LDS friendly content. You're not going to have to hear swearing or see immodesty. You'll just get really honest, open answers about what you should bring and about safety and just super genuine stuff from other people. If you're a missionary mom or missionary dad, I think you can better understand what your child's going through if you watch interviews with RMs who served in the mission. And I'd recommend watching more than one interview, because our hope is we're trying to interview several RMs from every mission over time. It's just taking a while because there's like 400 missions, and it takes an hour or two to conduct every interview and then an hour or two to edit and upload and share it out. Our hope is that if we interview several from each mission, there will at least be one or two of them that are just absolutely stellar, where the return missionary just carries, that flame of missionary work and of the Spirit, and it can really let pre-missionaries see that and desire that, to be that kind of missionary that they've seen on camera talk about their missions. Other ways it could be helpful. I think it's kind of neat. A lot of our views, so we get about 1 million views a month now. It's grown bit by bit, but from the beginning, but most of those views are coming in on travel or cultural terms, like, our most viewed videos like Scottish versus Irish accent, or, stuff about food or language or people or culture. And a lot of those videos rank, like if you search Romanian culture, you might see a return missionary talking about Romanian culture on that first page of results. And so it's kind of funny, we created this content custom made for pre-missionaries, but I've been surprised to see how many non-members it reaches. And I actually think it's really neat because since all the videos are in the context of the mission experience, gospel terms and experiences and testimony are woven throughout pretty much every clip. So even our most popular clip, the one about Scottish versus Irish accent, the last 20 seconds of it talks about the Book of Mormon. And, I'm sure that, those 1 million people who watched that video, who wanted to get a little kick, get some clean humor in them, they probably didn't want to get educated about the Book of Mormon, but those who watched to the end were educated at least a little bit about it. Or, people who want to, they watch a video about tips to stay safe in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. There might be a return missionary sharing a personal experience of, sharing some tips, but then sharing the experience when they were walking out late one night in, this one part of town, and he and his companion both felt the Spirit strongly say, turn around and leave. And because they did that, they avoided getting hurt. I've heard stories like that, like in Italy, for example, where they were told to go around and there was a drive-by shooting, just moments later on that street that they left, or an hour later, and like several people died, but they weren't there on that street tracting when that happened. So people get exposed to these concepts like, oh, what's the Spirit telling them to like stay safe? That's interesting. Or, oh, someone like, prayed and received an answer. That's kind of cool. And so I hope it's just also, it can help. There's some stereotypes and misunderstandings about missionaries throughout the world. Like, some people think we're devil worshippers, which is like the silliest thing ever, or that we have some sort of commercial driver to go on a mission, like they're paying us big bucks, which, it's quite the inverse. We're paying like $400 a month to like be able to go on a mission. And by being completely open and genuine about what a mission's like, and not shying over the hard aspects of a mission, because missions are super hard often, and they're also super rewarding, and you grow a lot and you have amazing experiences, and they just really vary as well based on the person and their experience and where they served and the faith they exercised and the faith the people around them exercised. And I think just by being genuinely open, it hopefully will help dispel some of those misperceptions of members of the church, and realize that we're people like them, just trying to do what's right, and this is what we believe in, and this is our experience that we've had. We've also created a lot of videos in foreign languages where we share about gospel topics. Usually at the end of each interview, we'll ask the returned missionary to share a message for their friends that they met on their mission, be it less actives, converts, members, whoever, and to look at the camera and just share their testimony, love or appreciation for them, encouragement. And, when I'll share out these interviews on Facebook after we interview them, the RMs, and I'll tag them. I'll say, thanks, Bob, for letting us interview about your mission in Florida. And then we'll have a link and have a nice screenshot of them smiling. And their friends will go on and watch some of their interview, some of their Facebook friends, and maybe even some of the people they taught in their mission. And they'll see that clip that's for them. Now, I've heard experiences where, like, someone we interviewed who served in Colombia, he had a less active convert who had been baptized about a year prior, but shortly thereafter became less active because he was maybe offended or something. And he saw his interview on Facebook. He watched some of it. He saw the clips in Spanish, watched a couple clips, and that gave him a desire to return to church. And then he called his missionary, talked to them on the phone, his returned missionary that taught him the gospel when he was baptized. And he got the desires to want to come back to church the following day and talk with the bishop and try to work things out. And so I think there's just a lot of possible positive ways the videos can be helpful. I also help, there's some like really silly lies out there. I don't mean to bash on people who have left the church for various reasons, but I mean, some people might be like, oh, missionaries are leaving the church like crazy. And that may or may not be true. I'm actually not sure. But what I do know is that I have personally sat down and met 750 returned missionaries who don't fall into that boat. I mean, they're at varying levels of their testimony and experiences, but there's so many strong returned missionaries that are staying faithful, that want to share the gospel. And people in general are just really good. And, by just putting out lots of content, I think that can help dispel that. Kind of takes their, the fire away. Like, they can't really make that point that there's no active returned missionaries when you put up, hundreds of hours of more than 10,000 video clips with hundreds and hundreds of active, stalwart returned missionaries that are doing it. And, because the gospel is true, and people, there's lots of temptations in life, and our faith, this life is meant to test our faith, but there's a lot of people who are just amazing, who are faithful, and I think it can be positive to recognize that you're not alone in trying to stand for what's right. I think family home evenings can be a great time to watch some videos where your son or daughter's serving, to help appreciate that. It could be a fun way to like hear about how the missionary work is growing in the mission that you served in. Like say if you served there 10 years ago, you can watch videos about the current state of the church and missionary work and growth and history. Like, you know, we interviewed someone who was one of the first 6 missionaries to go to Mongolia, and now there's, you know, I think more than 10,000 members on record, probably a few thousand active members, lots of returned missionaries who are native Mongolians, and, you know, things change, and, you know, you can watch his interview and get a picture of what Mongolia was when it first started, and then you can watch someone else's interview and get a feel for how it's progressed until now. Anyway, those are a few ways I feel like the videos can be useful. A lot of the videos I feel like can invite the Spirit into your life, which is probably the most important thing. If you have the Spirit with you, then Heavenly Father can communicate with you and bless your life in multiple ways. So anyway, those are a few ways the videos can be helpful that I hope they'll be helpful for you.